Hi, everyone. This is Jillian from Jewish Workshops. I am so happy to be joining all of you today, and we are extremely privileged to have Dr. Miriam Adahan on the line. Before we get started, I'd love to see who's joining us and where you're from. So if you can please go to your question box on the right-hand side of your screen and type your first name and where you're joining us from. I'd love to be able to welcome you. I'd also like to give a very special welcome to all of Miriam's community members who are on the line with us today. So if you're a community member, feel free to stick a star next to your name or write community, and I'll go ahead and welcome you as well. So, it looks like so many people are here. Wonderful. Welcome, Joe from Hollywood, Florida, and Imelda from San Diego. Welcome. Gabriella from Pittsburgh, Devora from Wisconsin, Diana from Northbrook, Illinois. Welcome. Fran from New York, and Dina from New Jersey, Tova from Muncie, Lynn from Virginia, Alex from Canada, Rachel from Brooklyn, Susie from New Jersey, Esty from New Jersey, Michal from Jerusalem. Welcome, Kimberly from Texas, and Charlie from Florida. Sandy, welcome. Hannah from New York, Ellen from Michigan, Anna from San Diego. Oh, Anna, how are you? It's so nice to see you here. You're a wonderful community member, and it's great to have you on. Welcome, Adrian from Minneapolis, and Melissa from Panama. Welcome. Panina from Israel, Brenda from Atlanta, Robin from Minneapolis, Nechama from Jerusalem, Asnat from Muncie, welcome. Shireen from Great Neck, and Anna from Staten Island. Welcome, Debbie from the Five Towns, Esther from Brooklyn, Edward from Prague, welcome. Michelle from Boston, Sharon, welcome as a community member. Tova from Miami, Rena from New York, Allison from Canada, Martha from North Carolina. Welcome, welcome to all. And people are continuing to flood the lines. Let me get to a few more here, although this could take all day. So I'm going to try to go quickly. Welcome, Cheryl from New York, and Deborah from Indiana, Miriam from Lakewood. Welcome, Elliot from Georgia. Welcome, let's see, Joan from New Jersey, Sally from Toronto, Devora from the UK, Miriam from Lakewood, Sandy from Wisconsin. Welcome, Monica from North Carolina, another community member. Wonderful to have you here. Welcome, Leo from Manchester, Tulsi from Airmont, Zipporah from Israel, Alyssa from Toronto, Miriam from New Jersey, Lynn from Texas, Sarah from Muncie, Lydia from South Carolina, Judy from Toronto. Welcome, Panna, another community member from Dublin. Welcome, Aaron from Muncie, and Brandon from Oakland, Malky from Jerusalem, Dale from Wisconsin, Diana from New York, Yehuda Labe, welcome. Sarah from London, Varda from Jerusalem. Welcome, welcome to all. When I say there are hundreds on the line, I really, it's very true, and everyone deserves a personal welcome. I'm sorry I can't get to every single name. Welcome, Hyla from New City, New York, Kim from New York City, Libby from Brooklyn, Sarah from Borough Park, Sharon from North Carolina, Byrne from Toronto. Welcome, Gail. Welcome, Rivka from Buenos Aires, wonderful. Welcome, Richard from Pittsburgh. Sabrina from Savannah, Georgia, welcome. Welcome, Jim from North Carolina. It is so nice to see so many people here. It is absolutely incredible to see people from all over the world continue to come on. With over 2,000 people signed up, really about 2,200 people for today. We are very likely to hit capacity any minute, so please don't leave in the middle. I don't want you to get locked out. We've got so much to go over. Over the past 8 years, Jewish Workshops has been fortunate enough to work side by side with Miriam to offer exclusive online programs on emotional healing and well-being, from managing anxiety to controlling anger to building self-esteem. Miriam's expertise, support, and unconditional love for the members taking part in her healing journeys have led to the transformation of hundreds of lives around the world. Most recently, we've received a number of requests to open up another opportunity for a healing journey focused most specifically on her EMET system. It is so challenging to know how to deal with automatic response systems and the onslaught of feelings that come up during these daily challenges. So today, Miriam is going to introduce us to her world-renowned EMET system in order to get our healing journey started on the path to regaining control and finding ourselves in the process. Make sure to stay on the line until the very end to hear about the opportunity to join Miriam week by week for a full 10-week program at a special discounted rate just for attending today. Plus, as I mentioned, we have members on the line who will have the opportunity to share with us their personal experiences with Miriam and how her guidance has changed their lives. So if you are a community member on the line with us today, please feel free to write in your chat box that you'd like to share at the end, and I would be happy to open up your microphone a little bit later. It is a supreme honor to be hosting Dr. Adahan, or Miriam as she prefers. For those of you who don't know, Dr. Miriam Adahan has been a psychologist for over 45 years and has more than 15 books published in numerous languages. With her many years of experience in counseling, lecturing, writing, and training counselors, her wellspring of knowledge cannot be duplicated. Thousands all over the world have Miriam to thank for the success of their relationships and their emotional and physical well-being. So Miriam, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and pass the microphone over to you.
This is so exciting. There's nothing I love to do more than help people heal themselves. So Chodesh Tov, this is Chodesh ER, which actually stands for Hashem is your healer. So there's a godly part of you that we're going to get in touch with and help you to heal yourself, because self-healing is the best. And that's what we hope to tap into, your own self-healing powers. And I want you all to leave this webinar feeling empowered and hopeful that you can take this on. Doesn't matter what age, what you've been through, what traumas, what your diagnoses have been, and I've had dozens of them myself. And so I had to go on my own healing journey, and I just want to give everybody else what helped me to get over all the stuff I went through. Okay, so should we start?
Yes, let's go ahead and get started.
Great, great. Okay, so first of all, take 5 seconds, every one of you, to just be so proud of yourselves. Maybe give yourselves a pat on the shoulders and say, wow, I actually signed up for this, and I'm here and I'm showing up. And this means I want to heal. Because the minute you have a desire, a willingness to heal yourself, you tune into these powers in the universe, in yourself. So give yourselves a pat on the shoulders and think about what you had to do to be here. Like, did you have to cancel something or get the dishes done, or I don't know, you had to do something. Okay, and we're going to call that a victory, for you to take the time and space for yourself, for the self-healing. So maybe somebody says what they had to do. Get people out of the house, get somebody in the house, do whatever you had to do, and call it a victory, because this is going to be very, very important for you to become aware, in order to heal, that you are constantly doing these little things that seem little to you but could be huge to start this healing journey. Does anybody want to share what they had to do to be here? How amazing that is.
You can actually share any comments right into that same question box on the right-hand side of your screen. And it may take a little bit of time, Miriam, for people to write in, but it looks like someone just wrote in, she had to leave work early in order to attend.
Now, I want you to hear that applause. And I want you to imagine that all the people on this webinar are applauding you. This is very important. And people call me out and say, wow, get that wow going when you do this. You had to leave work early. What else did any of you have to do? This enthusiasm is important.
I had to restrain myself at the grocery store and get only stuff I could leave on the counter so I could be here on time.
Look at that. Okay.
I got up early and looked at my email and noticed that we were starting a little bit earlier than I expected. That was a miracle.
Wow. Wow. Okay, so you will also tap into miracles on this path. You will start seeing, there's a wonderful saying in a Gemara that says, in the path that a person wants to go, he will be given divine assistance. So whatever you want to do, you want to do something good and heal, you want to become a criminal, you'll find other criminals. But if you want to heal, you'll find other healers. So this is what I found. I want you to just notice all the little miracles that you found out that you needed to, tune in here at 1 p.m. New York time instead of the usual 2 or whatever it was. And okay, so just notice that you're here and be really, really proud of yourselves. This is the most important thing you can do for your healing. Okay, because you set a goal to heal, and that's why you're here. Anything else anybody want to share?
There's a lot of different responses. I just want to answer a quick question. Everyone's asking if there will be a video. It's actually going to be Miriam's voice throughout, and then you'll see her PowerPoint presentation, which will have really important information. So I definitely urge everyone to take notes while you're on the line. But there will be no video, just so that you're not worried that you're missing anything else. And I think that we can go ahead and continue, Miriam.
Great. Okay, so see this lady, her hands are on her face, and there's a plethora of whatever is going on in her mind. We're going to work on discovering what's going on in our minds, and we're also going to contact a space that is beyond thought and beyond feeling. So don't worry if we get into the mechanics of the mind, because we're also going to go beyond it. Okay, so this poor lady is dragged down. You can think of what's going on in her brain as a kind of a pain body that we schlep along with us in life. And it consists of all the traumas and rejections that we've been through, all the abuse, whatever we've been through, that's that thing that is sitting like a cloud on her head. Okay, so we're going to talk about today why you are the way you are. Okay, how does the past impact your emotional responses today? Where do these negative response patterns come from? And how you can start healing today. So these are our goals, and this is never ending. It's something that we have to do constantly. So first thing is to recognize, now I put down 13 of these. I'm sorry, 26. 26, for those of you who know a little Kabbalistic, mystical, if you have any kind of mystical yearnings, the number 26 is the same as God's name. So as we go through it, I'm not going to go through it in order to blame anybody, not parents or siblings or anybody else, but it's 26, and I wanted that number because they all come from a divine source. I talked to somebody today who said, Miriam, thank you for reminding me that rejection is protection, because all the rejecting people in my life, I now see how toxic they are. And when they rejected me, I felt horrible, but now I see it as Hashem, God, whatever you want to call this higher power that's keeping the stars in their orbit or whatever, that was actually protecting me from getting close to the wrong people. So these wounds from the past, we're going to talk about 26. The more you have, the more healing you need. Okay? So just note which ones you suffered from. And we're just going to notice them. They do come from Hashem. It's what we needed to go through this lifetime. Okay? So the first one is birth rejection. You were considered ugly, the wrong color, the wrong gender. You were unwanted. You were seen as handicapped. Something was wrong. Okay, if you have that, write it down so you know that you were considered wrong from the get-go, defective in some way. All these things are not in our control, but we're going to see how we're going to turn all these wounds into the raw material for our growth. So lack of physical affection. If you don't even, I have a lot of people coming to me who have no memory of ever being hugged or kissed or soothed. This is huge, especially today where there's just touch. people are very, very touch deprived. So if you were touch deprived as a child, there was nobody to run to who could soothe you and hold you and give you a sense of security, because touch conveys security and value and safety. So all these wounds left you with a sense of unsafety. The third is neglect. If you were ignored, you were unkept, you weren't washed, you were poorly fed or overfed or underfed, you weren't disciplined with love. Now, discipline is the highest form of love. If nobody cared enough to teach you how to help you discipline yourself, that's a form of neglect. And it might be that you got enough food and clothing, but nobody showed any interest in you. There was no investment in you. Nobody was curious about what was going on in your mind or your heart. Hugely painful. Now, all these wounds leave scars on us. I have almost all of them myself, and it's okay. This is my raw material, and it's your raw material. The fourth is parental strife. You didn't see parents who loved each other or respected each other. There may have been scorn, explosive rage, these punishing silences. Okay, that's 4 strikes. They were fighting all the time. They argued about everything. There was a lot of bitterness. There was bullying. It might have been a sibling, a parent, or at school. There are a lot of bullies in the world. A lot. Just about every, especially the sensitive kid. You know, I'm a sensitive type, an empath, and we're fodder for bullies. They just prey on us because we react, we get emotional, and then they have more reason to bully us and scorn us just for reacting. So if you're a sensitive type and you got bullied, I don't say you could not get bullied if you're sensitive. That's just what happens. Or if there was something unusual about you, all these wounds create a sense of being defective and not good enough. 6 is criticism. Toxic criticism makes you feel like you're horrible. If there were threats, there's blaming, shaming names. You're stupid, you're crazy, you're lazy, you're a brat. I'm sure many of you out there have lots of other names you could add here. So just observe what that little child that you have inside of you, what that child went through. And how courageous you are to face with eyes wide open, yes, I went through this. Yes, I was called all kinds of names, told I wasn't worthy of life, whatever. Okay. And now you're just willing to face it. Because if you go to a doctor and you say, I'm in pain, but I don't know where it hurts me or what hurts me or whatever, the doctor's going to be very confused. He has to know what hurts. Now, these are your hurts. And you're just going to face it. And then we're going to work on healing it. That's what we spend our lives doing. Was there physical abuse? You were being hit, or you were a witness to violence or harsh punishments at school or at home, on the playground, and even being a witness. It's painful, and it's a trauma. Sexual molestation, that's about 1 out of every 3 girls and 1 out of every 6 boys, at least. Cleanliness issues, maybe there was hysteria about mess or dirt, or the floor being unclean, or the dishes not being washed, or maybe the opposite, that there was poor hygiene, you didn't know how to wash yourself. So there was too much hysteria about this, or there was a lot of neglect that showed up in poor hygiene. Religious torment, that's another big issue. for kids being brought up in a harshly religious environment where you just feel like you are, any little mistake is going to send you to hell, and God is presented as a monster in the sky just waiting to beat you up or send you to hell for something, touching yourself or something totally normal. Okay, religious torment comes out as perfectionism and as telling you that your urges, especially sexual urges, are wrong, and that you're a sinner for having these sexual feelings or thoughts. That's torment. That's real torture. Okay. Perfectionism, demanding that a child always be obedient, neat, and brilliant, or saintly. Now, again, I want you all to just think of having the courage, that you are being courageous for having the courage to face this and say, yep, it's what I went through. These are my wounds. So now I know what I need to heal. Was there overprotection, like excessive pampering and indulgence, or being watched over too much, like helicopter parenting? Did you have a negative body image? Okay. Now, growing up in Western society, any society, and you have these Hollywood images of what a man or a woman should look like, and if that's maybe 1% of the population, and if you can't match that, then you could be mocked and also feel defective. Food abuse, being forced to eat, deprived of food as a punishment, or hysteria about your weight or lack of proper nutrition. There might have been money trauma. There could have been poverty, lack of food, cramped quarters, lack of privacy. Maybe you couldn't get to the bathroom because there's so many people using it. You didn't have a bed. Social isolation. Were you rejected, bullied, teased, or excluded at school? Academic failure. You failed at your tests. You were told you were just average. You had learning disabilities, ADHD, ADD, whatever. There were handicaps and illness in your home, either you or somebody close to you with a chronic physical or emotional illness. Did you have a negative view of men or women? Oh, all men are like this, or all women are like that. Don't trust anybody. Did you suffer from prejudice due to your social status or social or color or whatever? Divorce and death of a parent. Okay, we've got 26 here. I had originally had 26, but we got 22. That's enough. Okay, so count up how many wounds you have. I'm going to give you a minute to count them. Take a breath. Take a short breath in and a long breath out. This is calming for the nervous system because now you're facing what you had to go through. And hopefully it was named. Now, you might have other traumas here. Please let me know if there are others that are not on this list. And take another breath in. Take a short breath in and a long breath out. As you calmly notice, because the ability to watch the pain of the past and to observe it and say, yeah, it happened, and I'm seeing it and watching it from a little bit of a distance and being able to name it is part of the healing process. So let me know how many you had on this list.
Somebody's saying 13, 10, 4, 1, 3, 11, 7, 10, 18, 6, 12, 5, 11, 7, 13 of them, 16, 1, 9, 1 to 2. A few people have none of them on the list. 10, 12, 5, a lot. 4, 3,
Okay.
5, 20, most of them.
Okay.
6, 13, 2.
So people are walking around schlepping their traumas with them. They don't go away. They leave scars. Thank God, and I can really say that. Thank God I have most of them, and it was all a gift. I even wrote a book called It's All a Gift, that I learned, like I said, to turn these gifts, these wounds into gifts that have given me insight and sensitivity to people. I wouldn't be able to help people if I didn't go through all this. Okay? So we're not competing or comparing, it's just what we went through. So, what was the major trauma in your past? Neglect, too much love. There really isn't too much, but it could be overindulgence and failure to discipline, or the helicoptering, or the bullying, or perfectionism. So, go to the question box now and type it in. What was your major trauma? And even if you just had one, it could have been so huge that you're not even aware of maybe of the other ones.
Bullying, neglect, criticism, and emotional abuse, being ignored, perfectionism, bullying and money
Mm,
issues, death of a parent,
mm,
bullying, neglect, toxic
mm,
criticism, death of a parent, verbal abuse, rejection, lack of validation, toxic criticism, a lot
mm,
of bullying, and a lot of neglect and abandonment, physical and sexual abuse, felt very unsafe and rejected, emotional abuse and volatility, anger issues, divorce, physical abuse, body image,
mm,
lacking
mm,
affection, parental strife,
mm,
neglect and criticism, rejection.
mm.
Oh.
Wow, heavy. Okay, now we're counting the Omer, and we're in the week of Tiferet, which is the trait of compassion. So I want all of you to maybe put your arms, just give yourselves a hug, and breathe in, short breath in, long breath out. And if you want, close your eyes and just feel compassion for yourself and for everybody else on this webinar. Because this is a healing community where we have the courage to be honest and reveal what we've been through and help each other heal with compassion. Compassion is the most healing of all traits. So just feel compassion for everybody out there, the people with one and the people with 20. And just breathe compassion to yourself and to the people that are listening. Everybody needs so much compassion. We walk around as if we're smiling, we're shopping, nobody knows what we're carrying around with us and what pain is in our hearts. How does that compassion feel when you give yourself a hug and you send compassion to yourself and to others? Because automatically, when you send it to yourself, you spread it out into the world. Does that have a calming feeling to you?
Yes, it feels like freedom. It feels like coming home. It's very soothing and calming. It's making me cry. Yes, yes.
Oh,
Very soothing. It's relieving.
so good to cry. Wonderful. 2,000 years ago, there's a concept of the inner child, which everybody thinks, oh, that's from the 1970s and 1980s. But actually, 2,000 years ago, our sages said there's a very important mitzvah on Pesach, Passover, that says, and you should tell your child about the Yetziat Mitzrayim, getting out of Egypt. And the question is asked, well, what if you don't have a child to tell that story to? And back then, our sages said, 2,000 years ago, everybody has an inner child that needs to be liberated and needs to hear the story that no matter what we've been through, we're good enough and we're deserving of liberation. And there's a Hashem who loves us. So this inner child concept is not new. Our sages knew about it. And that's what we're doing right now. We are telling the child within us, there's nothing wrong with you. There was never anything wrong with you. You were always perfect. You were always deserving of love. And I am here to remind you of that. And for however long it takes to get that through to you, you were never defective. There was never anything wrong with you or your life. You were born perfect. You were born with a huge capacity for joy and love. And then these traumas came and sort of covered it up. And now I'm here to liberate you. So it's a dual thing. You are the parent to the child who was wounded. And just take a few seconds to internalize that. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing that needs to be fixed. Your essence just needs to be revealed. And revealing that godly essence within you, your capacity for love and joy, is what we're here for. There's nothing wrong with you. You are not defective. You are good enough. You're exactly where you need to be and who you need to be. And if that little child says, but I'm defective and nobody could love me, and so how can I ever love myself? And this is all spiritual fluff, and I don't believe it, and I don't want to believe it, and go away. I don't want all this. That might be your inner child's reaction. And that's okay. You're going to be the calm, patient, compassionate, loving parent to that little child that might reject the love and the joy because it's not used to it. It will just steadily, consistently be there for that child and remind the child you are always perfect. There was never anything wrong with you. It was the society and the bullies and the people who didn't know how to love who made you think there was something wrong with you. And certainly the media does that with this presentation of all these perfect images that we thought we had to live up to. No, you just have to be you. You just have to reveal that godly essence. So make a promise right now to that little child that that's what you're going to do. And if it takes a lifetime, that's fine. We're not in any race. We're not competing or comparing. Every step is meaningful. Every step brings more light to the world. And God only knows the world needs a lot of light right now and compassion. And compassion is what we need to soothe ourselves when we're feeling anxious or depressed or angry or whatever. We're in a very uncertain world. The world is changing every single day. We're in masks and people doing things and thinking things that we never had to deal with ever. It is really a whole new world. It's been a very traumatic year, and we've survived, and we've learned to connect in a whole new way. And also we've learned to have more compassion. Okay. So how does the past impact your emotional responses today? This is really difficult. I talked to a lady today who's was married to a man. She's in her 50s, and she doesn't understand why her husband, he wants her around, he checks that she's around, but he doesn't seem to be able to connect to her. So she told me that this man's mother died when he was 8. She was an incredible lady, and there were 5 of them, and he was 8. She got cancer when he was 4 or 5, and it spread and it went to her brain. Now, brain cancer is really horrible. I mean, cancer is horrible, but brain cancer is really vicious. And so this little child at the age of 8 was watching a mother dying, screaming in pain, and brain cancer makes you look very crazy. Now, in the child's mind, all children are very egocentric. So they think everything is because of them. So if a parent dies, believe it or not, a child thinks it was my fault. It's my fault that mommy died. A child also thinks if she really loved me, she wouldn't have gone away. He also thinks that he was rejected. Believe it or not, she died because she didn't love me enough, so he felt rejected. Now, even more, he thinks if I love somebody, then that person will have to die, especially a woman. If I love a woman, because the woman in his life, his mother, died, so he's in his baby brain and his child mind, if I get close to anybody, that person will die. Just being close means that person will die. Do you see how this can affect a lifetime? This poor lady feels like her husband, like she's in emotional Siberia with this man. He doesn't understand what his child mind is telling him. She didn't understand until today why he seems to be so cold and rejecting. And once I explained, well, it's the child in us that runs the show. And we can't always change everything. If you were beaten up as a kid, you had a mother or father that gave you the strap, a hit, bullied you, whatever, you might still be thinking, well, everybody is going to hurt me. I don't want to get close to anybody because I'm going to get hit. If there was abandonment, well, I don't want to get close to anybody because they're going to leave me. So this is what happens to kids. If there's strife between parents, kids think it's my fault. If my parents didn't have me, they'd be happier, which is often true in many parents. Kids don't know it's not their fault. Many, many kids have never heard, I love you as you are. It's not your fault that we fight. I wanted you. There's nothing defective about you. You're perfect as you are. Most kids never hear that. And many parents do treat children, especially narcissistic parents treat children as burdens. They are. They make a mess, they keep you from sleeping. That's how narcissistic parents see children, as demanding burdens that they don't really want around because narcissists don't like to give. I'm not blaming the parents, it's just whatever we had to go through. But some of these, I mentioned this thing about the mother who died. And by the way, in that story, there was then a stepmother who was very rejecting, as often happens, of the stepchildren, and felt that the stepchildren um, deprived her of the love she wanted from the bereaved widower. So it's very complex. We're dealing with a lot of wounds. You know, the child that gets screamed at, the picture on the left, this kid is feeling, I can't make my mommy happy. It might be better if I was dead. And everybody's going to scream at me and reject me. This kid might then become the pleaser child. Let me just please it because I'm so scared of anybody being angry at me. And then you get the one under that with the world on his shoulders. I have to keep everybody together and everything, and I have to take on all this responsibility because if I don't, my family will fall apart. I get a lot of people like this who had to be grown up too early in life. They never even had a childhood. And they're always feeling today burdened and stressed, and they don't know why. Or the person in the middle with all the anxiety in a constant state of fear. That's also because it wasn't safe to ever calm down. Now, if you lived in an unsafe environment, your body got used to having a very high cortisol and adrenaline level, and the body gets addicted to cortisol and adrenaline because you're in a constant state of fear. Now, it's interesting that that cortisol, which is produced when you're stressed, and we're most of us are very stressed, but the cortisol uses up your serotonin. Serotonin is the calming neurotransmitter. That's what's in 80% of all psychiatric meds. It's serotonin. Why is your serotonin level so low that your psychiatrist is putting you on an SSRI? Why is your serotonin low? Because you're so stressed that your cortisol is using up all of your serotonin. So you have to go get it from a bottle because you don't know how to relax. Or on the top right, you get depressed. You feel like, why live? Who wants to live in such a world? What are you alive for? And then at the bottom, you have the parents fighting and the kids just miserable, getting used to a high cortisol level because the parents are always fighting and thinking, if we could just disappear, life would be better. Or maybe thinking this is life. Life is constant strife. I can never relax. I can never feel good about myself because this is life. Now, these aren't huge traumas here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's just what a lot of people go through. How did the past affect you? Are people writing in, Jillian?
No, not yet.
Okay, so just
they're starting to come. I've got anxiety. I feel like someone's always mad at me.
mm,
Self-rejection, anxious, depression, terrible fear of abandonment, questioning myself, physical illness, always
mm,
feeling like I'm at fault, low
mhm,
self-esteem, lack of
mm,
confidence, a low mood, full of fear and anger, not trusting. I'm a people pleaser, short temper and explosive, looking for love elsewhere. I don't feel safe, constantly feeling down, not confident in myself, always on edge, hyper and intense, insecure, fear of abandonment, anxiety, unsafe, self-doubt, needs approval, anger, very reactive, low self-esteem,
mm,
looking outside for help,
mm,
self-critical, prefer to
mm.
isolate, codependent. Okay.
Wow. Yep. Those are the effects. Okay, so just notice it. Notice it. You might want to hug yourself again. I'm very much into hugging. Hug that little child and be aware now you know where it comes from. And the brain just wants to feel safe. That's all it wants. So how did you feel safe? It could have been using drugs or isolating or not getting close to people. But these are the effects: low self esteem, feeling constantly not good enough, the not good enough message. Right, because every child wants to make his parents happy. When a child can make his parents happy, he feels like a success. And if the parents aren't unhappy, the child thinks it's his fault. So that's where he feels like a failure and never good enough. I told a mother today, every time you smile, you are helping your children feel like they're good enough. And she's a very angry mother with a scowling face. I would not like to be brought up with that, but not seeing, she said, I feel like my face is going to crack when I smile. So that's okay. These parents also didn't know how to feel good enough. Nobody taught them. Okay, so now we understand where it came from. The first 2 years of life are when we build a sense of trust in other people. If there was nobody around to cuddle you and soothe you and hold you, no consistently reliable, trustworthy, soothing, adult, mature parent, and many parents are simply not mature. They're little babies themselves. They never grew up. They're babies trying to raise babies. So this is the result. But we're going to learn how to bring ourselves up and how to give us what we never got. Does that make sense to you? So, yes, many of us live with a sense of sadness and hopelessness, guilt, shame, self blame, anxiety and fear, feeling disconnected, numb, or lonely. We're angry, we're irritable, we're in a state of shock, denial, or disbelief, numbness. Many of us would like to have social interactions, but we're too scared or we became avoidant because in our minds is people hurt. Why get close? Now we're wired for connection. The brain needs connection. All addictions are based on a sense of isolation. But if your brain is programmed to think that people are unsafe, you want connection, but you can't have it. Or you connect to people who continue to make you feel like this. And we tend to marry the messages that we got as children. We marry people who give us the same messages that our parents gave us. Oh, you're not worth anything. I'm going to abandon you. I'm going to reject you. And many of us marry those messages and carry on these feelings for a long, long time. And anybody who tells you that it's easy to fix it, there's no quick fixes here. This is a journey to learn that we're good enough and that we're worthy as we are of love and joy, and that there's nothing wrong with us. We just need to reveal who we really are. All that, we just got it covered up with all the traumas. So when wounds from our past are left untreated, then small events and innocent comments or questions can easily trigger a lot of negative emotion. It could be just somebody saying, how come there's no mayonnaise, or how come there's no ketchup, or why did you do that? Just the why word. Why are you late? Why didn't you get it ready? Why didn't you get up on time? Why can't you get it together? Why can't you declutter? Why can't you lose weight? Why can't it's just constant. Now, actually, I don't like the word negative emotion. We have negative thoughts and beliefs. So take out the word negative and just say easily trigger very painful emotions. Emotions are never negative. It's the thoughts that are negative, and it's the beliefs that cripple us, not the emotions. We want to welcome and experience all of our emotions. But what we want to do is uncover the messages that we got. Like, oh, mommy's never around. That means everybody's going to abandon me. So you see, the emotion is an emotion of terror and shame. But the message, people will always abandon me, that's what we need to work on. So emotions are just emotions. They're just energy in motion. We want to embrace them. Kids don't have a whole lot of emotions. There's maybe 10. They feel shame, fear, pleasure, shock, soothing, discomfort. It's very primitive. There's not a whole lot there. And anything anybody does that today, if it triggers one of those emotions, then what we need to do is figure out what are the messages here. And many of us became paranoid about people. People are always going to hurt me. People are out to get me. Nobody wants me. I mean, if my own parents didn't love me, how can anybody love me? So I hope this all makes sense to you. The emotions need to be embraced and welcomed. What we do need to do is figure out what the negative messages are, the thoughts, the beliefs, like mommies always die. I better not get close to anybody because anybody I love will die on me or reject me or abandon me or hit me. So describe a situation that triggered a negative response from you and write it in the chat box. It could be somebody going in front of you in line. It could be sending a message to somebody and then not getting back to you. It could be inviting somebody and the person doesn't want to come, or people surprising you and coming to your home or whatever. Think of a situation that triggered a response and write it in the chat box.
My husband yelling at me, my husband's tone of voice,
Ugh.
husband blaming me. I'm not strong enough because I have a slipped disc.
Oh.
Not being invited, sending my resume, my therapist criticizing me.
Oh boy, I had a bunch of those. Critical therapists, that's the worst. Get away from them. Stop with that. I had so many of those myself. They were all horrible. Okay, that's why I do what I do, because I've never found a really kind, warm, compassionate therapist. Let's go back to the husband's tone of voice and the husband's criticism. Okay? So let's take that one. The husband is critical. Now, the feeling, be aware of your feeling. It's a feeling of fear and shame, right? That's what you want to embrace. You want to see that people, controllers, and bullies want us to feel fearful and ashamed of ourselves. So, bullies, that's what they do. And they love to see us react. Now, the message is that's where you need to do the work is, and it's all my fault. Or if I could just figure out how to please him, he wouldn't criticize me. Now, one of my areas of expertise is narcissism. Narcissists are people who love to degrade and devalue and dismiss us and put us down and fill us with fear and shame because then they can feel superior and powerful. And this is called narcissistic supply. And when we react emotionally, that's what they get. So this is very, very hard to break. But first of all, just be aware of the thoughts going on in your mind. Embrace the feelings and write down the thoughts, darling, when your husband yells at you. How come it's too hot? How come it's too cold? How come you didn't do this? How come my shirts aren't white enough? How come you didn't have enough toilet paper? I don't know, whatever it is. It's that never good enough message that we have to fight. If there's anything that this webinar does, it teaches us to fight the not good enough messages. That's the crippler. It's not our emotions. It's not really our traumas. It's the not good enough message that we took away from the trauma. Okay, are there more?
Yeah, there's a lot more. I'm just not sure we're going to be able to get through everything. Let me just get to a few more. Not being able to let go of negativity. I feel small and vulnerable. Let me see. Not being good enough. A passive aggressive spouse.
Oy.
I feel shame for being single. Okay.
Well, there's just as much shame about being single as shame about being married to somebody who's critical. And just about everybody is a victim of toxic criticism. It's going to be the teachers, the parents, the siblings, the children, somebody. Okay. So I want you to understand that what heals, and this is really hard, it's hard work, like 1,000 times a day to say, I am good enough as I am. ATPI at this present instant. I'm exactly who I need to be and where I need to be in my journey. Given my past and the traumas and everything I went through, I'm exactly where I need to be. All these fears, all this shame, we fight it. It's like taking a mountain down with a spoon, day by day by day, by saying, I'm exactly ATPI at this present instant. I am exactly who I need to be and where I need to be. ATHA according to Hashem's agenda. Now, if you have a problem with God or Hashem, Just think of whatever power is keeping the moon and the stars and the sun in their orbit. There is some kind of power at work here. Give it whatever name you want. Doesn't have to be God, because a lot of people think of God as a monster in the sky waiting to punish you, or as a male figure. If you had trouble with your father, it's hard to connect to that word. So think higher power, think universal intelligence, divine intelligence, compassionate intelligence, whatever you want to give it. And let that tell you 1,000 times a day, I am good enough. I'm good enough as I am. We're talking about this present instant. Put it on your phone, put it on your mirror, put it around the house. It's very good to put it on your mirror, because everybody looks in the mirror and says, oh, I'm too fat, this and that, I'm too old, I'm too ugly, my skin is sagging, I don't know, my hair is frizzy, I got this, I got that, whatever. Put it on your mirror. I'm good enough. ATPI at this present instant. I'll be better next week, next month. I'm growing, I'm learning, I'm healing. But I have to start with this Diano mentality that I'm good enough where I am right now. Given all this pain body that I've been schlepping on with all these wounds and scars that nobody else sees. And honey, whoever it is out there that has a therapist that's cold, that's putting you down, making you feel not good enough, please, I don't like to give advice about this, but please ditch that one and find somebody with compassion. Anything else, Jillian?
Thank God we've had such beautiful and amazing participation with hundreds and hundreds of responses. I think it'll just take us a little bit too long because we're running out of time here. So I appreciate all of the responses, and thank you so much. Please continue to put in and participate. It's good for you as an individual. I just don't know that we'll be able to read all of them.
Okay. So let's just say we're going to have a situation. That therapist, that husband with his growling look, okay, that means he's in what I call the dark triad. These are people that like to put other people down. They're dismissive and degrading and devaluing, that type. Okay, so be aware of how you feel and embrace it. Don't judge it. Never, ever judge your feelings. You have a right to feel whatever you're feeling. And be aware. Take a breath. Remember, it's the messages, it's the belief system that we need to work on, not the feelings. The feelings are just like little kids in a classroom telling you what's most honest. I mean, there are certain people, when they walk in my house, I turn into a fish. I don't say a word. I feel disconnected and a little trapped and a little cold, whatever. Okay, I get all of these, any situation where I feel unsafe because I have post-traumatic stress disorder from everything I've been through. So I'll get triggered and I'll feel this. I don't judge it. Okay. What I do work on is the thought that there's something wrong with me, and there isn't. Okay. So if you don't get anything else from tonight or today, wherever you are, remember there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing to be fixed. You just need to uncover, to reveal who you really are that got covered up by all the traumas. Because the essence, our sages say, our essence is joy. The essence of a tree, of a flower, of every living thing is joy. You walk out in nature, the flowers are so happy. The essence of the flower, of the tree, that's your essence. And people told you that you weren't allowed to feel that joy because there's something wrong with you. And it's not true. Now, don't eat up all your serotonin, that wonderful calming neurotransmitter, by being around stressful people. If you can get away from them, get away and go into nature and kiss a flower, hug a tree. I do that all the time. I hug my trees, I kiss my flowers. I tune into their essence, which is my essence. Flowers and trees are so safe. People are something else. Okay, so notice what you're feeling, accept it. Okay, now there's also the physical impact of untreated wounds: insomnia, nightmares, unhealthy diet. You overeat to stuff the feelings down, or in some kind of addictive thing, just not to feel the pain of what I call RINA, RINA, rejection, invalidation, neglect, and abuse and abandonment. That's the only reason we have addictions. Starved, racing heartbeat, aches and pains, fatigue, stuck, can't move forward, destructive, addictive tendencies, mood disorders, digestive disorders, Crohn's, colitis, all that. I mean, your serotonin is produced in your gut. So if your stress level is eating up all your serotonin, your guts can't produce it. So if you've had difficulty in relationships, you now feel withdrawn, isolated, untrusting, even paranoid. Everybody's out to get me, hurt me, afraid, anxious, intimidated. Okay, that's just what happens to us with enough pain. We don't want to get near people. So if these symptoms are familiar to you, if you have any of them, write yes in the chat box.
Yes, definitely. Yes, yes, absolutely. Yes. Yes, exclamation point. Absolutely, yes.
Okay, now I don't mean to cause strife in any homes. I want to bring greater unity and love to the world. But a lot of us are dealing with emotionally crippled people who didn't know how to feel good enough themselves, so they laid their not good enough messages on us. We can have compassion for them because they didn't know they were good enough. If they knew they were good enough, they wouldn't have criticized us or bullied us. So they didn't know that they were good enough. And when people don't love themselves, they can't love anybody else. Now, that was their pain talking. People that know that they're good enough, they spread joy to the world. They smile a lot. I want you to start smiling more. It's interesting that in spiritual matters, it's okay to fake it till you make it. So, where do all these emotions come from? Now, this is our brain. Look at the place at the back of the head that is called your primitive reptilian brain. It just wants to keep you safe. And if you had enough negative experiences with people, that part of the brain will tell you don't get near people. People are dangerous. They can hurt you and judge you and criticize you. And sometimes it's just being re-wounded every day with critical people in your environment. Now look to the left a little bit and you see the amygdala. There's actually two of them, amygdalae. That's the fear center. That's the one keeping us in a state of stress all day long and keeping our cortisol and adrenaline level up, which is eating up our serotonin, which means that then you need to go to a psychiatrist to get serotonin because you're so stressed. I'd prefer that you teach yourself how how to calm yourself and soothe yourself so your body will begin to produce the serotonin again. Now, this green area is your limbic system. That's where all the messages are that you ever heard as a child. You're stupid, you're lazy, you're a brat, you're ungrateful, you did, you're too tall, you're too short, you're too fat, you're too thin, you're not smart enough, you're not too smart, you're cold, you're too hot, you're too emotional, you're too tepid, and that limbic system just chatters away at us all day long. That's the one we need to quiet. Now, the primitive brain down there, that's just into sex, food, power, security, safety. Okay. Going up to the limbic system, that's the one where all the messages are. And we attract people who confirm the messages that we got in childhood unless we take control and change the messages. We are electromagnetic beings. If I'm feeling not good enough, I'm going to attract people who are going to give me the same messages. This is called confirmation bias. The brain is like a Google search engine. If I wake up in the morning and say, "Oh, I'm so sad," okay, my brain will say, "Oh, yes, there's so much to be sad about." And I read on the news this mother stabbed her son, and what that one happened, and this one's a widow, and that one, and it'll find things to be sad about. And that little purplish place, that's the fear center. So there's so much to be scared about. And I'll go looking for the search engine. Oh yes, there's so much to be scared about. Now, what's going on in our brains? These messages are what's keeping us from experiencing joy and love. Now, up here is your prefrontal cortex. That's where we learn to reprogram our brains. Okay? Now, it starts with little actions. Right now, pick up your shoulders to your ears, go higher, 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 and let your shoulders roll forward 3 times. Big rolling forward. You feel some clicks in your back? I do. Ah. Now take 3 big rolling. Roll your shoulders back. Oh. These little acts during the day of choosing to calm down an inflamed brain are the beginning of self-healing. That's all it takes. These little acts, you might want to pull your toes towards you, get your feet out, pull your toes towards you, harder, harder, harder. Reach down and tell yourself, I'm good enough. I am enough. I'm enough. I have enough right in this second. Now, up here at the top of the brain is gratitude, faith, and joy. And they're all the same. They all are connected. Down here is, I don't have this and I don't have that, and this one doesn't love me, and that one, just chattering all that negativity. Okay. Up here is, there's so much to be grateful for. Do you have running water? Do you have a bathroom nearby? Do you have enough toilet paper? I mean, that was a big that was a big thing with the beginning of COVID. Is there going to be enough toilet paper? That's the insecurity. Now we all have enough toilet paper. We have running water. Okay. So gratitude, faith, and joy. Those 3 things are a sign that you are working now on developing your prefrontal cortex. That's what we practice. Okay. This is a complicated thing to do, but it's really, as the more you practice gratitude, faith, and joy and allow yourself, and if you have to kiss a flower or hug a tree, that's fine. That's wonderful. That's what begins to fight all the wounds that we experienced here and may still be experiencing with the people around us. Because hurt people, and a lot of people are hurting. So you can start healing today. We're going to use all these wounds, all these traumas as stepping stones for growth. Does this make sense to you? We're just going to keep going out of Egypt, out, out, out. You're going to find the inner Moshe Rabbeinu within you that's going to take you out of Egypt. Okay, are people into this now? So the EMET system is going to empower you to get out of victimhood. Victim means they did this, now we're going to take the reins of our emotional responses. We're going to feel our feelings, welcome them, not judge them, and learn how to ride the horse. Think of the horse as your emotions. It's not bad. It just never got trained or disciplined. The horse is the emotional self, the limbic system, and you are going to get the reins. It all starts with thank you. Now, take a deep breath. I say actually take a short breath in and a long breath out. Thank Hashem for the triggering situation that happened to you. Okay, I trained myself when I started EMET some 45 years ago that no matter who irritated me or what happened or what disappointment happened to me or what loss, that I would say, thank you for giving me the opportunity for greater self-awareness and refinement. Okay? Now, we have a lot of work to do. We need to work on patience, on compassion, on being thrifty, on being happy with whatever we have, gratitude, faith, joy. There's so much to work on, thank God. I think of every situation as an opportunity to work on some character trait. I ask myself, what does Hashem want from me? This person didn't call. This person didn't come. This family member hasn't contacted me for months. Blah, blah, blah. This person contacts me only when they need money or whatever. Now, write in the chat box which trait you had the opportunity to enhance during the challenge. So our traits that we need to work on are compassion, patience, modesty, forgiveness, thrift, orderliness. Okay, think about a challenge that you had and what you worked on.
Patience, forgiveness, self-awareness, rejection, tolerance, patience, calmness, not to be controlling, self-love, compassion, forgiveness, patience and understanding, being more kind and loving. I'm good enough. Calm, talking with myself to calm myself down. Bitachon, emuna, self-love, giving, patience and forgiveness, tolerance of
Great.
myself and others, acceptance. This is great.
Good. So we're all going to have irritations and frustrations this week. You're going to get in the wrong line at the supermarket, or somebody's going to push in front of you, or you're going to try to reach somebody on the phone and they're not going to be available. Think, thank you, Hashem. Just say thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to work on this. Blah, blah, blah. I had to reach Social Security. I don't know. They kept hanging up on me. I kept calling. After a few times, they finally got through. And I just kept saying, Hashem, thank you for the opportunity to work on patience. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I kept dialing the number until I got through, and the phone didn't go dead on the fifth time. And that was it. I said, okay. So I had a challenge, and this is what I worked on. So this gives meaning. Saying thank you gives meaning to events that seem so random and senseless and cruel. Well, think about it. Somebody, I don't know, bashes into your car or something, whatever. My plumber said that he was in a very narrow street and somebody was parked very badly, and he accidentally clipped the mirror of a car, and he was going, and he called to tell me, Miriam, now this is my plumber, I've trained him too. He called me to say I had a big victory. I left a note. Okay, he didn't have to leave a note. It was a parked car. Maybe nobody would ever know. But think of the character traits in Hebrew. It's midot that he displayed by stopping the car, getting out, and leaving a note. And in fact, it was a lady that called him, and they started talking, and she said, wow, I need a plumber. And he ended up doing some plumbing work for her. Okay, so always when anything happens, the lady with the husband's who's critical, okay, think of the midot. Oh, thank you so much for being critical, because you're teaching me. This was my biggest. I've been surrounded by critical people my whole life, and I have to say thank you for the opportunity for me, it was to be very self-sufficient and not to seek any emotional currency from anybody. No love, validation, kind approval, appreciation. From anybody. Okay, if you have a critical person in your life, that's what you learn. You learn to be very self-sufficient, and you learn that your self-esteem and your sense of self-acceptance doesn't come from anybody else. It has to come from inside of you. That's a hard one to learn. Does anybody have a situation? Maybe somebody's in your face and doesn't give you space. A lot of us became people pleasers due to our traumas, and what we needed to learn was how to set limits and not to be afraid of rejection. Okay, Jillian, are you there? I think I lost you.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, good. Okay. So this is our journey. If we're going to learn how to do this, victimhood means we are victimized by every Tom, Dick, and Harry who just looks at us the wrong way, and the cheaters and the con men and the criticizers and all those people in the dark triad who want to put us down. And we learn to free ourselves and have our own sense of self-worth and significance.
Great. So it looks like everybody is, so many people are writing now. I'm really excited to continue. I am ready to break out of this victimhood. So let me go ahead and tell everybody a little bit more about the program that we mentioned in the very beginning. I'm really excited to let you know about this first time ever Miriam giving her own EMET presentation over the next 10 weeks. So here we go. Over the next 10 weeks, you will get week by week classes of going through the entire system. So starting next week already, Monday, April 19th, we're going to be starting on Torah Principles, the foundation of EMET. Then the following week, EMET, a method for achieving self-leadership. We'll follow that by general EMET principles. Then learn to recognize a temper and combat it with secure thoughts, followed by temper reducing tools, practical aids for secure thinking and constructive behavior. Afterwards, we'll go ahead into how to avoid unnecessary judgmentalness, then foster healthy relationships with communication techniques. Understanding your emotions is going to go ahead and be in class 8. Avoiding temper with children in class 9, and then finally use your imagination to promote change and creativity. So the full 10-week class, each ongoing class will be live and interactive, allowing you to get your biggest questions answered and stay completely anonymous if you choose. They will all take place on Mondays at 2 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Israel time. But don't worry, if you can't make it to a live class, there will always be a recording available to you in your own personal membership area just 24 hours after the live class takes place, and that will be available to you for a lifetime. So if you are already a member of Miriam's community, then you'll be getting these classes as part of your membership fee. So don't worry, you don't have to sign up again. You'll already be part of the community. And if not, then we look forward to having you as part of our community. And I will go ahead and let you know a little bit more about what is included. So not only will you have 10 full weeks of live classes with Miriam, but you'll also get a 4-part series on healing childhood trauma. So practical tools to heal emotional scars from the past and rejuvenate your soul. Plus, handling toxic personalities, whether it's a coworker, friend, extended relative, or loved one, having to deal with toxic personalities is sometimes unavoidable. Discover how to assert boundaries while keeping the peace in these challenging situations. You'll also get another bonus called Building Self-Confidence and Overcoming Codependency. And I know that that was something that was a huge challenge for a lot of people writing in today. So you'll have a full class on how to do that, detaching from negative people and unhealthy relationships, and discover your true value. Plus, Miriam's full toolbox, visual aids and charts that will serve as consistent reminders, giving you the tools to implement these methods into your life. There will be victory and gratitude journals as well as mood identifying tools that will enable you to jumpstart your journey to becoming joyful and emotionally healthy. And I know Miriam also mentioned several times about victories and gratitudes and how that can really jumpstart your healing journey. So you'll find those also in your toolbox. It'll be a digital copy so that you can go ahead either and download that onto your computer and right there, or you can print them out for yourself. And finally, as another extra special bonus, you'll have a one-on-one phone consultation with Miriam. So that'll be your opportunity to gain mentorship on your personal situation straight from Dr. Miriam Adahan herself. As you can see, you won't be alone through this journey. You'll have one-on-one support, a community of people all working together towards healing and personalized solutions to get you through your healing process successfully. But most importantly, by joining Miriam today and investing in yourself and your own healing journey, you'll discover how to shatter the blockages, negative labels, or recurring thoughts that make you feel incapable of achieving emotional mastery. You'll power through your limitations and unearth the greatness within. You'll be able to stop anger in its tracks and achieve emotional balance no matter what stressors are thrown your way. And you'll finally be able to dissolve your trigger points for anxiety, fear, and anger, leaving only peacefulness in its place. As I mentioned in the very beginning, this is the first time ever we've created an all-encompassing journey focusing on Miriam's well-known EMET system with full emotional and personalized support. Plus, to make it accessible to as many people as possible, we are offering a payment plan option so that everyone can partake in this one-time chance to heal alongside a one-of-a-kind mentor. So for the next 24 hours, you'll have an extra special introductory rate, which I said in the beginning, because you are here today joining us live, you will get a special discounted rate and you can become a basic member and get the 10 weeks of live classes plus all of the recordings in your own personal membership area for just $347. Or you can become a platinum member today and get the full 10 weeks of courses, all of the recordings, plus the bonuses on healing childhood trauma, handling toxic personalities, building self-confidence and overcoming codependency, the full Miriam Adahan toolbox, and the one-on-one phone consultation for just $447. And again, I mentioned payment plan options are available, so you don't need to do it all at once. You can pick the payment plan option that best fits your needs. I'm going to go ahead and share the link so that you can go and grab your spot now. But before I do, I just want to give one extra special surprise. Several months ago, one of our members sent us an email with a fabulous request. She said she loves coming to our introductory classes and really wishes she could buy everything. But of course, she has to limit her purchases due to financial restraints. So she asked if it was possible if we would run a raffle and let one lucky buyer get their spot for free. We've done this a few times in the past, and people have absolutely loved it. It's a very exciting opportunity. Thank God we've had obviously a winner every single time, and now we're going to go ahead and give you the opportunity. So everyone who joins right now while we're still on the line for the next half hour or so will have the opportunity to be automatically entered into our raffle, and we will pick one lucky winner tomorrow to have their full ticket reimbursed, and you will get the full package for free. So I just want to remind you that as soon as you join, you'll automatically be entered, so you don't have to worry about that. But it's open for right now, this next half hour while we're all on the line. Everyone who is ready and makes that jump and takes that extra special effort to join and say, this is important and this is something I'm going to do for myself, you'll automatically get put into that raffle and have the chance to win your spot for free. So I'm going to go ahead and put the link right into your chat box. It'll be easy so that you can actually just copy it out of your chat box and put it right into another browser so you can stay on the line with us still, listen to the question and answer time that we're going to have in a little bit. But still be able to grab your spot and make sure that you get your raffle ticket as well. So it's www.jewishworkshops.com/EMET, EMETT. I put it right there in your chat box, so you can go ahead and copy that out and put it back into a different browser. And then all I ask is that when you go ahead and join, please come on back and let me know, so that I can welcome you into Miriam's community and congratulate you on becoming a new member. Go ahead and just put into, like I said, your chat box. If you're listening over the phone, you might not see this there, but you can do www.jewishworkshops.com/EMET, EMETT, and grab your spot now. You'll see on the page that you get redirected to, you will see an option for your basic package or your platinum package. Both reflect the special introductory discounted rate. So you can join now for $347 for basic or $447 for platinum. It'll also give you your options for payment plans if you need help. And if you are having any questions about registering or it's not allowing you to do it right on the page, please come on back and just put your first name and your phone number so that we can give you a call. I've got Hannah here on the line. Aviva will be here a little bit later. We all want to be able to help you out. So come on back and just let us know if you need some help. We will gladly give you a call and make sure to secure your spot. And we'll, of course, again, make sure that you're secured in the raffle as well. again, just to answer any questions that are coming in here, if you're already a member of Miriam's community, no need to sign up. You will already have this as part of your membership. Sorry. If you have any questions or need help registering, please just put your name and your telephone number in here. And then, of course, once you've registered, come on back and just put your first name in the words "I'm in" so that I can welcome you and congratulate you on joining. We do have some time here to answer some of the questions that have been coming in, so I'm going to also get to those. If you have any questions, please feel free to come on back and let us know. And there are questions that have already come in, so I'm going to go through here and get to those questions while Miriam is here with us as well. Miriam, we had a question come in. Why is too much love without enough discipline not good?
See, the highest form of love is discipline. So if you're just loving a child and letting him do whatever he wants, but you don't teach him how to be neat and orderly and get up in the morning and eat right and make his bed and exercise and all these things, and it's just could be too indulgent. This is why we have in the weeks of the counting of the Omer, we have the first week is Chesed, which is just giving. You don't even think about how much you're giving, you just give. That has to be balanced with Gevura. Gevura is restraining, and sometimes the highest form of giving is not to give, to let people learn how to manage life on their own. You don't want to always be tying your kids' shoelaces or helping them get dressed when they're 8 years old or whatever. You want them to be able to manage on their own, to become self-sufficient, independent, hardworking people. So love, this is the week of compassion, which is a balance of kindness and discipline have to be balanced with an awareness of what the other person really needs. Anybody with children knows it's so easy to give them all the toys they want, and it's never going to be enough. So yes, we need to love, but to me, the highest form of love is self-discipline. I hope that makes sense to people.
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay. Like learning to live without, living with minimum, not indulging. If too much love is an indulgence, and then the kids are never happy and they don't know how to deal with disappointment and loss. And they think everything is coming to them. So actually not having everything they want and having to go through disappointment and pain and loss, and you being there to comfort them through it, that's where we find our inner strength.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
I just want to go ahead and welcome our brand new members. It looks like people are joining very quickly, so thank God. Continue to come back and just let me know. But welcome Gitti, welcome Chaim, welcome Peter, welcome Sarah. Wonderful to see you. Welcome Leah. Excellent. Come on back and let us know when you're in. I would love to be able to welcome you as well. And again, if you have any questions regarding registering, if you have questions about the course itself, if you have questions about the bonuses, please just feel free to put your name and your telephone number in. We will certainly give you a call and help you get registered or help you with any of the questions you may have. On another note, Miriam, we did have another question come in. Here we go. Miriam, if you were single today as a mature woman, what sort of self-talk would you tell yourself? I feel like I've failed in some way.
Oh, that's the message that society gives women, that if you don't have a partner, that somehow you have failed. That is a message from society. The only thing I can do, say as a divorcee myself, is that if Hashem wanted me to have a partner, I would. If Hashem had wanted me to have a loving partner, I would have. That my job is to serve, to be a light, and to serve and in the best way I can, even without that big happy family that everybody wants. And really very few people get it. And to learn to love myself. That's what I had to learn. It is a really difficult challenge not to have that big happy family that everybody wants and everybody thinks is the sign of success. So you have to be successful. You have time on your hands. You can be part of chesed organizations. You can volunteer. There's and from my unhappiness, I wrote lots of books. I was so lonely. So there's something special that Hashem wants from you. And we have to get rid of that message that in order to be successful, we have to have everything we want, and life has to be pain free, or that we need somebody else to love us in order to love ourselves. We don't. We can love ourselves, and there's so much the world needs, and that we can contribute in whatever way we want. There are endless opportunities to give. So if we can't give to family, then we give in any way that we can. Now, one of my favorite people is there's a rabbi. Oh, the name has. I'm blocking the name right now. But when he began the Mishpacha magazine, like maybe 20 years ago, and his parents were in Poland, and they couldn't get out. He was 6 years old. He had a 4.5-year-old sister. His parents sent him alone because they thought he would have a better chance at getting through into Switzerland over the mountains if he was alone with his sister, that people would have more compassion for these two little kids. At 6 years old, he went on his own through the mountains into Switzerland. He got there. I don't know, he knocked on doors. I'll have the name next week. As soon as this webinar is over, I'll remember it. And anyways, he had to take care of his little 4.5-year-old sister. And he got to Switzerland. And he said that experience, I think his parents were killed in the Holocaust, but that experience of at 6 years old, of finding inner strengths and finding solutions and managing, it gave him a sense of power and confidence that was with him for his entire life. So that's what we have to do. Love is a very rare thing, especially in this day and age. Real love, not too many people are going to have it. So we're going to have to learn to be the people who love others and to be our own source of love. It's amazingly difficult to find real love, to find people who are trustworthy, reliable, responsible, consistent, compassionate. It's hard to find it. So we're going to have to be the ones to do it.
Thank you so much. Before I get to some of these other questions, and thank you again for sending all your questions in, I will certainly get to as many as we have time for. I just want to welcome Teresa, welcome Rivka, welcome Bracha, welcome Miriam. Wonderful to see everybody who is joining. Please, again, just come on back and let me know once you're in. And if you still have any questions, please put your name and telephone number in so that we can give you a call and help you register to make sure you still get your spot in the raffle. I'm going to go ahead and just put that link up on the screen for you so that you can see it here. It's www.jewishworkshops.com/EMET. Also, feel free to reach out to us if you have questions via email, or you can give us a call. The line may be busy, however, so I would definitely recommend putting your number in so that we can give you a call as soon as we're available to get to you. Welcome, Shira. Wonderful to have you as well. Miriam, can you please repeat the acronym of RENA that you mentioned earlier? There were several questions about that. So if we can just review that, that would be great.
Okay, so Rena in Hebrew means song. And this has been my life work, is to change the rejection, invalidation, and isolation is the I. So R is rejection, I is isolation, N is neglect, and A is abandonment and abuse. To change that into a song and into the way to heal. That's our Homer Gellum. How do you say Homer Gellum in English? It's the raw material that we make into our song. By the time I was 12, I was anorexic and cutting. That was way back a long time ago where nobody did those things, okay? I had a very, very difficult time. I had a lot of struggles. And now I can be thankful that I had to go through all that. It was hell on earth, but I found strength within myself that I didn't know that I had. And there was no other way, like the rabbi getting through the mountains of, Switzerland in the midst of the winter, that we want to see that our difficulties are going to take us to a place of healing and to greater heights of wisdom and compassion.
Thank you for reviewing that and explaining it one more time. Welcome, Alice, and welcome, Dara. Wonderful to have both of you as well. We just got the most wonderful message here, Miriam. This is so min hashemayim. I was thinking of Miriam this past week and really needed her help. And suddenly I saw the email for today's webinar. I did therapy with her in Israel 10 years ago, and I'm so grateful for what she has done for all of us. That was so sweet.
Oh, how sweet. See, I couldn't help people if I hadn't been through all this myself. I went to therapists to try to get help. If they didn't go through what I went through, they were just cold and they didn't understand what I was going through. So I had to figure out, I wrote EMET as a manual to help people help themselves, because I really believe in self-healing and self-empowerment. And I want to empower people. I don't want to make people dependent on me, on psychiatrists, on psychiatric meds. I want to help people heal in whatever way they can and take the reins on themselves. And we do have that self-healing power within us. I want everybody to uncover it and to discover that you have those inner resources. Every one of you has it within you. You have a Moshe Rabbeinu within you. You have an Avraham and a Yitzchak and a Yaakov. You have all those powers. You have all the powers of the matriarchs and the patriarchs. You have it all within you. And we're going to get in touch with it.
Excellent. Miriam, we had another question come in. How are we good enough at this moment if we are saying that we are all going on a healing journey to grow and change old destructive habits?
That is the paradox of growth. If a person is diabetic, let's say he's so thirsty and he can't sleep at night, and no matter how much he drinks, he's still thirsty. He has to accept, oh, okay, get to a doctor, find out if you have diabetes. Oh, I'm diabetic. And that means blah, 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 blah. Okay, I can't have sugar, and I maybe can't have milk products, and I have to have an alkaline diet. Blah, blah. You have to accept where you are now before you can grow. You have to love yourself. This was the message of the Dayenu song that many of us sang on Passover, which is, if you brought us out of Egypt and you brought us through the Reed Sea and then you brought us to the desert and you didn't give us the man and you brought us to Har Sinai and you didn't give us the Torah, but at every stage we said Dayenu. Dayenu means enough. I am enough as I am right now. And when I accept that with joy, this is where I got to. With all the traumas in my life, I wish I was now where I, had this wisdom and compassion and I had it at 20. I didn't have it. I was okay. I was a people pleaser and had so many problems. I had to go on a journey, but I learned to say at every stage, if I accept totally where I am right now, then Hashem will lift me to the next level when he sees fit, according to what I'm able to handle, at the pace I'm able to handle, when I'm able to handle it. So accepting where you are right now is the first stage of growth. I talked to a lady just before this webinar, and she said, oh, she has a certain H. pylori. She said, oh, I love milk products. And the doctor told me if I want to get rid of it, I have to stop eating milk products. Okay? So you have to accept you have the problem, and then the healing comes. It's so powerful. I've seen this as the more I do that, my Dayenu prayer, I am exactly as enlightened and energetic and healed and organized and whatever. Then I'll give everybody a whole list of what they have to say Dayenu about, and technologically savvy as Hashem wants me to be right now. And it might be 1%. I have no technological savvy, but okay, wherever I am right now, I want to make peace with that and trust that then Hashem will bring me up at the pace that I'm able to do. When he wants to expand me, I have to trust that. And it really happens. I have to trust the problem I have. I'm exactly as organized as Hashem wants me to be. And the really weird thing is if you accept that you have a problem, let's say with organization, you say, I love myself even though I'm a little messy and disorganized. The weird thing, it is really weird. Suddenly, when you really love and accept yourself, all of a sudden you begin to see how you could get more organized. I just have seen this in every area of my life. So keep saying, I am enough right now in whichever way you can do it. I am as accepting of the people around me, and it might be 1%. This is an important point. When you accept where you are right now, it might just be 1%. I accept my weight, and I'm 1%. I accept that I'm tolerant of certain people, 1%. I'm forgiving 1%. 1% is enough to get the inner peace process going. And we're not going to have, I don't know about world peace, but we do need inner peace. So you want to get this peace process rolling. I can walk into a store and say, I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what to buy, and walk out and say, okay, I'm exactly as decisive as Hashem wants me to be right now, and it might be 1%. And that's where I'm at. And I just want that inner peace. That's what it gives you. It gives you inner peace, and then you begin to expand. So it's a really weird thing, that Dayenu prayer. Like, what do you mean if you brought us to Har Sinai and you didn't give us the Torah, Dayenu? Nothing makes sense unless you see that if you are truly grateful for who you are right now, and that gratitude could be 1%, then Hashem will lift you up. I'm as decisive and confident and assertive as Hashem wants me to be. And it might be just 1% right now. So try it. Try the 1%. And just say, this is where Hashem wants me to be. I'm making peace with reality. When you make peace with reality, you feel calmer inside, and then your brain opens up. Because when you're stressed, your IQ goes down. Your prefrontal cortex can't work. When you're accepting and at peace and loving yourself and feeling joyful, your brain will open up, and then Hashem will lift you to the next level when he decides to do so. I hope this makes sense. You have to try it. We're going to work on this. This is what we have 10 weeks to do, is to keep working on these skills. I've been doing this for 50 years, and I just get better at it. And I hope I have a few more years to keep growing.
Amen. Many, many more years. Thank you. I just want to go ahead and welcome the newest members, and then we're going to get ready to close up here in a little bit. So again, I urge you, if you have any questions or need help registering, please come on back and let us know. Once we're closed up, we won't be able to contact you because we won't be able to get your information. So just leave your phone number and your name if you have any questions or need help with registration. And in the meantime, welcome Karen and welcome Charlie. Welcome Esty. Great to have all of you, and welcome Shira. It is so nice to see people really continue to join in from all over the world. It's really a beautiful community that we are building here, and expanding, I should say, because we have a community already. So please continue to register. I will go ahead and put that link into your chat box one more time, again, and just so it's easy for you to copy out. It's www.jewishworkshops.com/EMET, EMETT. And I do see a lot of numbers here. Please be patient with us. We will get back to you as soon as we can. If you don't hear from someone, or if you receive a message and you call back and it's a little bit too late for us to get back to you, as long as we started our conversation, we will certainly honor the introductory rate. I know people were asking about that. Don't worry. We have your number here. We will get back to you and help you register at that special discounted rate. Miriam, people are continuing to write in. Thank you so much. You're terrific. Your messages are so empowering. Thank you, Miriam. Blessings to you. So Miriam, with just a few minutes left here before we wrap up, can you leave us all with some parting words? I know there are, thank God, several hundred people still here on the line with us. Some are probably, really excited and trying to register as we speak. Some are maybe on the fence. Is this going to help me? Is this the right journey for me? If you can help us, just understand a little bit better why it's so important to do this as a community, why this is so different to do than, picking up a book or trying it on your own. If you can help us with that, that would be wonderful.
So I just love our little community. This is the hour of the week that I can be totally honest with people and not worry about being rejected or mocked or whatever. Everybody in this community is so loving. And we talk outside of the hour, and we share, and we send emails back and forth. It's this little accepting, loving community. Last night I was having trouble going to sleep because I have this huge lecture that I have to give tomorrow night, and it's down south, and I have to drive for 2 hours. It's a big burden on me. It's a 2-hour lecture, and I'm driving, and I have to get all this material together, and I was feeling very anxious. And I just told myself, I'm exactly as calm as Hashem wants me to be right now. And it was about 1%. But from that 1%, it began to grow, and I was able to relax. So I promise you all, just being here, being able to be honest with others, being able to share our anxieties, our whatever. I was diagnosed with treatment-resistant depression. I was told by a doctor, you'll never be able to experience joy, Miriam. I was told that I had 5 different anxiety disorders. I was told all these. I was told I was a lost cause. And that's why I went on this journey of healing. And every person in this family has helped me to heal. I have felt your love, your compassion, your concern. And that's you've all helped me. All of everybody in this little family has helped me as much as I've helped you. This is Julian, I'm a different person than I was 8 years ago when we first started, right? Okay. So we're just growing. And I can't tell you how much the caring of this group has helped me. And we need to be cared about. We need the this interaction. And for many of us, this is the only place where we can be really honest about what we're going through. So thank you all. Thank you, Jillian. Thank you for seeing me through with all this, and all of you out there. I bless you all. I give you all a big hug. And I hope that, I'll see you in the coming weeks, and we can learn to have fun together and feel and reveal who we really are, which is joyful and loving. That's who we are. So we're all good enough as we are, and try it 1%. Cold too.
Thank you so much, Miriam.
Thank
Thank you for
you.
spending your time with us today. Thank
My
you to
pleasure.
everyone who's here from all over the world. Thank you for coming and spending your time here as well. I'm going to go ahead and leave the webinar open for just a little bit. You won't hear us though, but I will leave it open in case anyone needs to still get in a question or put your name and telephone number in for some help. And so that'll give you the opportunity to go ahead and do that when I leave this open. But otherwise, I wish everyone well. I look forward to seeing all of these new faces, so to speak. I guess we can't really see your faces, but I look forward to joining everyone next week when we start with our very first class on EMET. It'll be next Monday. And I look forward to seeing you all there. Again,
God
please,
bless you all.
if you have any questions, come on back and let us know. Otherwise, thank you for joining us. Thank you so
Thank you.
much, Miriam.
God bless you all. Big hugs to all of you. Feel this virtual hug that we're all giving to each other. We need it. Okay. Cold too.
Thank
And
you.
don't forget to hug yourself.
Also,
Bye-bye.
thank you,
Lila
Miriam.
Toe.
Bye.